Hello again. It's been a while. Since this video is gonna be lengthy, I decided to give it a voice. First off, thank you so much for the 100k views. I didn't even expect to get 10k. Glad to know Dungeon Meshi got so many Arknights fans and vice versa. Now before we begin, there are some quick clarifications. I wanted to make the same video for Leos Chilchuk and Senshi, but unsurprisingly someone else has already made it, which I'll link in the description. They did a good job with it. Instead, this video will delve into Marcel's data logs, modules and voice lines, as well as the event story. For those who haven't watched the anime or read the manga, if you're somewhat interested in the series after my first video, go watch or read it before you watch this one, or it'll spoil a bunch of things for you. But hey, if you simply don't care, welcome. Let's cover some animation references that I forgot the last time. Marcel having nightmares is a big plot point in the series. In her S3 charging animation, you can see her staff is a bit overgrown, which comes from that very memorable scene. I appreciate Hypergriff not wanting to spoil that portion of the anime, but it was such a tease, wouldn't you agree? There's not much to say about the story, but it does answer one important question. Why can't Marcel use black magic? Or in her words, ancient magic? Well, in the Dungeon Meshi world, mana exists not only inside people, but also within the dungeons. In fact, the big dungeons are built upon the infinite flow of mana drawn from another dimension. And as we all know, Terra doesn't have anything like that. Marcel can't use that type of magic simply because her own mana just isn't enough. But hey, according to her archives, she's been studying Originium art. After all, she is a scholar first and a mage second. Quick story review. I like it. The chapters mirror the normal episodes of the anime. It's kinda impressive how 4 untrained adventurers are able to traverse Terra without much issue, even venturing to places like Sami, Iberia or even Dusk's painting. Typically only catastrophe messengers like Angelina could do it. And I don't think anyone in Terra has had a Seaborn buffet before. And before anyone says it's non-canon, based on what we know from the R6S and Monster Hunter collab, the character's physical strength stays consistent to the Arknights world. Chilchuk and Marcel are physically weak, and Leos is just a guy with absurdly high pain tolerance. But thanks to their skills, knowledge and unexplainable metabolism, Leos' squad thrived in Terra for months. Anyway, here's some references to the anime. I'll read this verbatim because it's too funny. While she is well known for her poor physical fitness, operators fond of hanging out or exercising on the streets have recently reported sightings of Marcel executing difficult to perform maneuvers while shouting things like A Sidrop has evaluated her to possibly have a talent for street dancing, and has invited her to join in street events, so perhaps we will see a new side of Marcel in the near future. It's a reference to Marcel's outstanding moves in the first episode, volume. Though you can tell it's breakdancing more easily in the manga. It was such an iconic panel that Tatsuki Fujimoto, also known as Chainsaw Man's author, referenced it way back in Fire Punch. To summarize this part, let me just use this image. Wait, let me add something. Okay, maybe I'll just read this out. What exactly did Midnight do that could have informed Marcel of his past identity as the Devil of the Eastern Night in Higashi, and also caused her to weave him and more than a dozen operators, including the Doctor, into a complex web of relationships, full of jealousy, hope, respect, control, exploitation, as well as love and hate. Being a romantic, Marcel has a deep fascination for the complexity of human relationships. She would let her mind go wild upon hearing cool titles like Midnights.
第七夜に目覚めし魔王で、東夜の魔王？そんな伝説の人が本当にここにいるの？鮮血と暗黒のフィーストの中で目覚めた彼の真紅の瞳を月光が照らし、その周囲には無数の…って、あれ？あそこで耳をつままれて連行されてる男の人、誰？
Actually, according to her module, the moment she heard about Wei Yenwu and his wife Fumizuki, she immediately formed a romantic fanfic in her head. You could say she's a shipper, more like, the only qualified shipper. This is thanks to her favorite elven book series, the Dalshan clan, which is mentioned in one of her voice lines. In the manga, it leads to a very wholesome interaction between her and Chilcha. That's all I could find about Marcel. Honestly, her entire lore is worth reading. Hypergriff definitely did a better job fleshing out her character than her mana mechanic. Dungeon Meshi are full of well-written characters like Marcel, even the minor ones. The author Ryoko Kui put a lot of effort into making them feel real and complex, while still being hilarious. Combine that with the creative and meticulous world building and we have a melting pot of just well-written pure fantasy. No isekai or power fantasy shenanigan. And trust me, anime onlys, the story is only gonna get better. Even Freerun hasn't got a proper ending, while Dungeon Meshi has a beautiful one. This series holds a special place in my heart, which is why I'm planning to make more videos about it, exclusively. If you want to watch me yap about Dungeon Meshi more, consider subscribing. Thank you, and have a good one.
これは藁で作ったバッタ。こっちで手芸を教えてもらった時に作ったから、持って帰ってファリンにあげるつもり。昔あの子と初めて一緒に遊んだ時、ファリンは本当の迷宮に連れて行ってくれて、その途中でバッタを捕まえてたりもしてたんだ。その後はダンジョンの中で並んで木イチゴを食べたりもして。それがあの子と友達になった日の思い出。私、ずっと覚えてるんだ。